I am Anthony L. Elmore, President and Founder of the proud Black Buddhist World Association. The Buddhist religion did not arrive into Japan until 6th century A.D. Now, what is it that makes the proud Black Buddhist unique from most other Buddhist sects? Let us be more specific. What makes us proud Black Buddhists different from Mahayana Buddhism? See, Mahayana Buddhism is the time in history where Buddhism was separated by race, language, and culture. This is the time in Buddhist history where the Buddha was purposely changed from black to white. Look here at the images of the Ganhara Buddhist images created by the Kushan King Kanishka. It was Kushan King Kanishka and Avagosha who created Mahayana Buddhism. Mahayana Buddhism is characterized by the Sanskrit language. When you study Buddhist teachings in regards to Sanskrit language, it means that all Black history, culture, and language has been extricated. When you research the history of the Nichiren sets, the SGI, Nichiren Shoshu, and Nichiren Shu, and others, you will find that they are Mahayana Buddhists or closely associated with Mahayana Buddhism. That means they inherently practice a racist Buddhism that extricate Black culture, history, and language from Buddhist teachings. In order to get a clear understanding of Buddhism and racism, Black people must understand the racist concept of Sanskritisation. See, another name for Sanskritisation, or Sanskritisation, is to whitewash or to change history or to promote the concept of white superiority. Now, the most historical reference of whitewashing is Sanskritisation or satisfaction. See, Sanskritisation is whitewashing of the Buddhist religion and history. Now, do not take my word for it. White people call Sanskrit the mother of all languages. And if you let them tell it, all languages derived from Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the basis of white racism, or rather white superiority. You see, whites and Asians call Sanskrit sacred. See, what the white people did was white races got together and they embraced Sanskrit because, number one, they didn't want to endorse nothing or embrace something that was related to the Jews or the Semites. So they saw this story, or they learned this story in India about a group of people called Aryans. And this false sense of Aryan, or this history of the Aryans, gave the white people a new meaning. So they came into India and they saw the system where white was at the top and black was at the bottom, and the Brahmins that was in control. See, it was the Brahmins that led the whites to know or to believe that there was a race that came from Europe that were called the Aryans. See, what they did was, it was the Sanskrit language that misled the white races, or how they used it. You see, Adolf Hitler got so enamored and got so excited, he sent an expedition of people to learn about this so-called Sanskrit, and it was Hitler that used Sanskrit as the basis of Aryan or white superiority. You see, in Sanskrit is the language of the culture of the Brahmins in India. Now, this is the time in history where the world reached a new epos, whereas this is the first time in the history of humankind that humans became separated by race, culture, and language. This system originated in India. It was called the caste system. Now, the word caste means Varna, a color, whereas humans became separated by the color, and the whites were at the top and the blacks at the bottom. See, this is the first time in world history whereas light-skinned people use language, culture, and history to write black people out of history and create white superiority. See, the racist process was called Sanskritisation, or a method to whitewash world history. You see, this is the time in history that the white king Kanishka changed the Buddha from black to white. Not only did he change the Buddha from black to white, he changed the history and writings of Buddhism from the black language of Pali or Sanskrit to the so-called white language of Sanskrit. See, King Kanishka created a new Buddhism called Mahayana Buddhism. Now, the Mahayanas were Brahmins and they rewrote the Buddhist teachings, and this is where we get the Sanskrit version. See, the Mahayanas were the Brahmins and followed the Sanskrit. You see, it was a big fight in India. You see, the Mahayanas were the Brahmins. They were the white racist Brahmins, and the people in India were the Muriams. See, the Muriams, it started off with, it was King Asoka. See, King Asoka's grandfather was Chandragupta Maurya. He was a Maurya. See, it was back years ago, Alexander the Great tried to conquer India, and he ran up against the Nandas. Well, Alexander, with the Nandas, they had 80,000 elephants, and Alexander the Great said, hell no, I'm not going to try to conquer these black folk in India. But what happened was, there was another group of black bad people. They were called the Muriams, and the Muriams actually controlled India up into the time of 185 BC, when Pushyamitra Sangha killed the last Mauryan king, Bridhadatta. He killed him in broad daylight, and they set up a Brahman cult. This is 185 BC, and all of the black Buddhists ran to their brothers in Nubia. See, it was the father of history Herodotus who wrote that Muro was the cradle of the Gymnosophists, because the black people went to Muro, which was the land of Nubia. Now, in India, they killed all the Buddhists. Now, they set up this caste system, or they were trying to set up the caste system, and they brought in a white person. Now, the white person they brought in, this is about 1900 years ago, they call it the Shaka era. Shaka means in Sanskrit, foreigner. They brought in a foreigner, and his name was King Kanishka. King Kanishka came in, and with his soldiers, he was from the Afghanistan of the Kushan dynasty. They set up a dynasty, and the Kushans, they were practicing, they got introduced to Buddhism through a former Brahmin by the name of Ashvaghosha. Ashvaghosha introduced Buddhism to King Kanishka, and what they did was they came up with their own second, fourth Buddhist council, whereas they changed the language, the culture of Buddhism, and they changed the Buddha from black to white. You could see this by the Gandhara images, because King Kanishka made Gandhara his headquarters, or his capital. The way the Japanese teach it, through using Sanskrit and extricating black history, they teaching delusion, because they are teaching white superiority, and the extrication of black history, culture, and language is racism. Anyway, thank you very much.